What's up guys, Matt and Blake from the Football Boots team, and today we're going to be talking through the 10 reasons why you should hate Adidas. Now let's be serious, Adidas are a quality brand and they're smashing it at the moment in the boot market, and for a lot of you guys they're actually performing better than Nike, which is a pretty big deal. But there are maybe 10 slight flaws that we found with Adidas, so that's what we're going to be running through today. So reason number one is their slightly false advertisements. This one is messy in the pure agility. Now why is this a slight problem?
It is a slight problem, more so than other problems from Adidas, because Messi himself, he's marketing the Messi 16 Plus Pure Agility, so the more premium boot in the Messi 16 range. But actually he wears the Messi 16.1 or his own version of the Messi 16.1. So yeah, Adidas market the more premium one. It's happened with Suarez, sort of marketing the Pure Chaos. He wears the X16.1. Same thing with Gareth Bale at the Euros. Gareth Bale did score two free kicks.
Yep.
And straight after he scored, Adidas posted him holding a Pure Chaos in a photo. So false advertising. So players like Bale, Suarez and Messi, they market the top models but sometimes wear the scaled down models.
I just think it's a little bit unfair because obviously these top tier ones like the Pure Chaos and also Pure Agility are a lot more expensive compared to the point ones. So I just think it's a little bit unfair, especially to the kids out there who want to wear the same as their heroes, and they might just see the adverts and go for these models, which is what not actually they wear on the pitch themselves. So our next reason is one that you guys always point out with any kind of Adidas boot review, and that is NSG, non-stop grip. And what is the problem with this? Is it a bit gimmicky?
It is a bit gimmicky, and that's the biggest thing with Adidas. Sometimes they market some features which are just so gimmicky. Yes, it may help to sort of enhance control and touch, but not by much. They market it to help with grip in wet conditions. Their NSG, it's found on the A17 Plus Pure Control, as well as on the X16 Plus Pure Chaos and Primeknit. It's this dotted application on top of the upper. Yes, it might help with control and touch in wet conditions, but not by much.
That's what we're pretty much talking about. NSG, it is some kind of technology, but in terms of actual performance enhancements, we are talking about the smallest percent possible, so it's almost not even worth mentioning. So our next reason is Adidas have incredibly similar silos out there. Now what is the real point of having the Pure Chaos, the Pure Agility and also the Glitch out there, which are so similar? For you, is it too much of an issue or is there much differential between each one?
Well, I don't think there's an issue with it. They're all three decent football boots, but in terms of marketing, they're all marketed for completely different purposes. So when you market something different, when the boot's pretty much the same, then you've got problems because they're not really reliable in terms of what they're saying. The Pure Cut cover on the Pure Agility, the Pure Cut cover on the Pure Chaos, and the same thing with the Glitch. They've all got that sort of same laceless Pure Cut design. So very similar, pretty much all sprint frame on sole plate. It's a bit different with the Glitch and the Tech Fit collar as well. You know, it's so many similar features on three different football boots.
So one thing that we actually think Nike do better than Adidas is each of their silos are a lot more different compared to what Adidas do. The Pure Chaos, the Pure Agility and Glitch are so similar, but on Nike's Magista, Mercure and also Hypervenom and Tiempo, they are incredibly different. So that's maybe one thing that Nike do better than Adidas at the moment. So on to our next one, and this one actually really annoys me. We've got the Pure Control Laceless and also the laced 17.1 Primeknit. Now these are actually priced differently, which is a little bit outrageous. What are the price differences and is it fair?
So £30 is the price difference. So £230 for the more premium A17 Plus Pure Control and £200 for the A17.1 Primeknit, which I and you probably think is the better football boot in terms of overall performance. We think the Pure Control is a little too gimmicky and a little bit overpriced for what you're getting for a football boot. Do you agree?
Well, one thing that I don't actually understand is they are almost identical. If you take out the laces of the 17.1 Primeknit, you have pretty much got the 17 Plus Pure Control.
Yes.
So how did Adidas actually justify charging people £30 more for the Pure Control?
Boost.
Maybe the boost technology on the sock line and also the sole plate. Is that really £30 worth?
Probably not.
I'd say probably not. We're probably talking a couple of pounds in terms of construction and craftsmanship. So I think it's a little bit unfair. It'll definitely be interesting to hear from you guys whether you think it is actually justifiable that the Pure Control is more expensive than Primeknit. Maybe you guys think otherwise, but for us, we just think it's a little bit unfair. So we're moving on to the next reason. Now we've spoken about their false advertisement with Messi in the Pure Agility, but this one is a little bit different. And why is it an issue?
because this is Bale's boot himself. This is the Stellar X16.1. He does market the Pure Chaos, as we mentioned before, but this is his own X16.1. But there's another thing with it. It's also customized. It's not just a standard X16.1. Players like Bale, Suarez, and Messi, they're all customizing the boots themselves, as well as false advertising. So do any other brands like Nike or Puma do this?
Yeah, they do. So Nike actually does something a little bit similar, or they did do with Neymar in his Hypervenom. So although this is 10 reasons to hate Adidas, we could do another one which is 10 reasons to hate Nike, and another reason, camouflage football boots. Neymar was supposed to be wearing the Hypervenoms, but it was actually a camouflage Vapor 11, which is obviously a bit of an issue because you want the boots that your favourite players are wearing. Exactly. So it's a little bit unfair, but that's another reason. So let's move on to the next one. So our next reason might be an issue for some, but might not be for some others. And that is the very, very similar stud configurations and also sole plates. So what are we actually looking at right now?
So these are the 4 premium silos from Adidas at the moment. This is the Pure Control, the Pure Chaos, the Copper 17.1 and the Messi 16 Plus Pure Agility. They all have sprint frame, but they're all slightly designed differently. They're pretty much the same material on each of these boots. On Nike's boots, they have the nylon material. It's different on the Team Pro from the Hypervenom, from the Superfly, the Vapor, as well as the Magista. But all these sole plates are very, very similar. The only really major difference is the type of studs. As you can see there, the stud configurations, they're all the same. 4 on the heel.
Yep.
These, I think these are the exactly same sole plate.
Yep.
But they're just different silos. So yeah, do you think that's an actual problem or not?
Well, I don't think it's a big problem, but one thing that you guys like so much about Nike football boots is that you can get a sole plate which best suits you. If it's kind of chevron studs, if it's conical, if it's a mixture between the two, like on the Hypervenom or also on the Magista, you really do get to choose the sole plate and stud configuration which suits you best, something which you might not be able to get with the Adidas boots. So our next reason, there's going to be a lot of you guys out there who are probably going to find this a little bit controversial, but that is that the Adidas X16.1 and also some other Adidas boots as well have very cheap synthetic uppers on this specific model. I know a lot of you guys out there probably have this and you might say different, but what we feel is too thick, it's too stiff and not very flexible. So apart from this specific boot, what other Adidas model might have a cheap synthetic upper?
So there's actually a lot of Adidas football boots at the moment which do have quite cheap synthetic materials on the pro level football boots. Something like the Ace or the X 16.1 or 17.1 leathers. Really nice K-leather upper on the toe box there. But you go back of the boot, it's a really, really cheap synthetic. So a lot of cheap materials are actually on pro level football boots these days.
And you can actually see that in the past as well. So we've got one of the F50 Adizeros from back in the day. Amazing leather on the toe box. This is really nice, but at that midfoot and back, it goes to a very cheap synthetic, and that's our point. There might be some good things on boots on Adidas and also Nike and Puma and all the other brands, but there are a couple of points on the boots as well, which just make them a little bit more cheaply to manufacture. So our next reason is just a very small issue, and hopefully one which Adidas are going to sort out very soon, and that is not making the glitch globally available. Is that a little bit unfair?
So the glitch itself, there's been over 15 colorways for the glitch itself. Massive vibe around the glitch, but if you're not in London, you can't actually get it. Thousands of people, say in South America, US, Mexico, have wanted to try the glitch, have been asking us on Instagram and YouTube how to get the glitch, but they just can't. It's just a little problem if you want to get the glitch, but you don't live in London.
So our next reason is probably the biggest issue with all football boot brands out there. So let's just make this clear. It's not just Adidas, it's Adidas, Nike, Puma, Umbro. Every single boot brand are making their boots so expensive. Now I remember when I was younger, I loved the Predators, and you're looking at about £90 to £100, and that was the same with Nike's Mercurial Vapors as well from back in the day. But now we are looking at over £200. Even some now, the limited editions, are like almost £300. It's crazy. Do you think boots are getting too expensive?
I think they're too expensive already. I mean, something like the X16 Plus Pure Chaos, something like £230 you're paying for this, over something like this, which will just give you a lot of quality for what you're getting. £90, are you kidding me? You can get a Copper 17.1 for about 120, 115 pounds. Exactly. That is a joke. This is such good value for money, but these boots themselves, £230, kids can't afford that. They're getting the scaled down boots. They're getting really cheap boots for even more the price, so it's really bad, isn't it?
Well, the problem is they're just going to keep getting more expensive. That's what we're seeing every single release, every single season. The price in boots are just getting astronomical. When is it really going to stop? Yes. I remember when I saw boots get to like 130, 140 pounds, I was thinking, okay, that's probably as far as it can go. But now it's just keep going up every season. So when is it actually going to stop? What do you guys think? Definitely let us know in the comment section below if you are just thinking these are getting too much. So our last reason to potentially hate Adidas is a personal one for me, but also one for Blake as well, and probably for a lot of you guys at home, especially our age, and that is for killing off the Predator silo, the most iconic football silo of all time, because of the boots, because of the players. It was such a shame that they did. One of the best boots of all time.
Yeah, I mean Zidane, Beckham, massive players wearing the red, black and white Predator from 1994 to 2014, 20 years, 2 decades the Predator was around. Such a massive boot. They killed it off and brought out the Ace. What do you think of that?
Well, do you know what? I think the Ace silo is actually pretty good for a boot right now, but I would just love to see the Predators actually come back. I know they've made the remakes, but they're not the same quality. I would actually love those old school Predators to be made again, maybe a little bit more modern, but still with that classic leather. I think that would be a huge thing. But that pretty much wraps up the video. As I said, we should probably do a Nike one as well. Yep. But what do you guys think? Let us know in the comment section below what your reasons for not liking Adidas or maybe some other brands are. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up the video. So guys, thanks for watching as always.
We'll see you next time.